Welcome to Film Phreeks. This is Justin Llewellyn.
And Eddie Williams.
And we're back now for another audio review, and this time we're going to be reviewing the latest official sequel called Leprechaun Returns, which is the eighth film. It's the official sequel.
Like we got with Halloween and Texas Chainsaw and Saw.
Yeah,
the part two's the official sequels.
Yes, this is
they've been doing, and lately they've all been fucking shit.
Yeah, this is the official eighth entry in the franchise, but it's the first true sequel to the original film, Leprechaun, which originally came out in 1993. And this one is Leprechaun Returns, which is a direct sequel where it's 25 years later after the events of the first movie, and you have this girl that not to go into detail, but because we'll be going into spoilers here shortly. She has a connection to a certain person in the first film, and she goes to this exact same farm that the first movie took place in. And there's some trouble
and she's picked up by the fat dude, which is in the trailers, Ozzy, if you guys remember, was the big guy
from
the first movie. He's well known for Pee-wee.
Yeah, Mark Holton, who played Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he comes back, and he picks her up and takes her to the house, and then, not to go into detail yet, but some stuff goes down where the leprechaun ends up coming back, and much like in the first film, he wants his goat again, and mayhem ensures. And he starts picking off these college kids, because these kids go there to basically make this set up this fraternity or at this
college that doesn't look like it fucking exists because it's out in the fucking boonies.
Yeah,
and they're apparently gonna fucking start a fraternity. Okay.
Yeah. So now here's a little backstory. Now, if you've been following our channel for a while, we actually did a retrospective of the original Leprechaun films that you're welcome to check out. I'll put the link in the description below. The original Leprechaun films, given for what there is, they're fun movies for the most part. Like the first film,
most part, yes,
the first film,
fun movies.
Yeah, the first film, which came out in 1993, it had a young Jennifer Aniston in it in like her very first role. And given for what it is, that film is not a good movie, but it's so like it's just a lot of fun to watch because it works on like a very fun B movie level. On a slasher film.
I liked 1, I liked 2, I liked 3. 4 was getting kind of sci-fi-ish, but it's still doable. 5 and 6, I'm just hit and miss. I don't really care for the hood setting, but it's there and I can own it. Now, however, they had one called Origins, which wasn't really supposed to be a part of Leprechaun until they needed a market name. And they just splat Leprechaun Origins on it, and that was considered to me is like easily one of the top 10 worst films of all time.
Yeah, I didn't fully watch that one, but given for what I've seen of it, it seemed to me like they weren't even trying anymore.
Dude, even without Leprechaun, that's still like one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. But now this is the film that I actually didn't really think they just came out of nowhere, because earlier this year, or at least back in around March, I think, we actually got a teaser for this that came out of nowhere that indicated that Leprechaun was coming back, and we found out that he's actually doing a direct sequel to the first movie. And
because it was led to believe a reboot.
Yeah, because I remember for a long time they were talking about, like, back in the day, they were talking about doing a potential another one with Warwick Davis, who originally played the Leprechaun, but a lot of those plans fell through in favor of the reboot that came out a few years ago. So after that came out, I just figured, they were done. But
didn't Warwick Davis say he's about done with the character?
Yeah, recently the reason why they once again replaced Warwick Davis again with this new guy that came in. It's a guy named Lyndon Porco, and basically the reason why Warwick Davis turned down the role was because since he's gotten older and he's had kids, he feels like because he has kids now that he doesn't want to play anything horror related, to not, because he wants to spend time with his kids. So he's taking a break from doing horror related stuff. He'll still be doing stuff like in the Star Wars movies and stuff. He'll just not be doing anything horror related for a while.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he didn't come back this time, and but from what I've seen from the previews, it did seem like they were a step in the right. They made the right choice by going back to its roots again, because this time they got a guy who, for what it's given, he does seem like he's trying to bring back that mentality of the first Leprechaun. So it did kind of keep me curious on
like,
that
the
aspect.
makeup isn't like directly like Warwick Davis, but like everything comes to an end, and we're gonna eventually have to see something new. And for what it's worth, it's doable on the look.
So, but going into this movie after finally seeing it, I kind of had the same reaction like this, like I have with a lot of these movies that are direct sequels. If you remember our review of Halloween that came out earlier, this is pretty much on that same level, but probably a little worse.
Yeah, and we had Texas Chainsaw did it a couple times. It failed. Saul did the prequel, trying to ignore everything else. That was fucking terrible. It just seems like everybody's fucking doing these, and they can't get it fucking right.
They can't. So, going in, where do we start? Like, there's keep in mind, there's going to be some spoilers for this. So, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, there will be some major spoilers. So, you have been warned.
Yeah.
Basically, the story, it starts, where you have this girl who's on her way to this college, basically trying to go into the boonies or whatever, where this old farmhouse takes place. And we actually find out, well, she gets picked up by Ozzy from the first film, and we actually find out that she's the daughter of Jennifer Aniston's character in the first film, which I'll admit, it's a good, that is a good, I'm glad that they brought the connection in from the first one. But they don't really. I mean, they the way that the plot goes along with this character.
To me, it feels like it's more of a cash grab, like a cash in.
But here's where I have a problem: is that the movie kind of goes off as rails as it goes along. But we'll get into that later. But anyway, she turns out to be the daughter of Jennifer Aniston's character in the first movie, and she ends up going to this college, and you have already I have a problem from the start because they end up going to this place that's out there in the middle of the area to make a fraternity, and apparently you have her and these other college kids that are there partying and stuff, and it's like, well, why the hell would you start a fraternity out in an old farmhouse like that?
Exactly. This town doesn't even look like it's even big enough to support a college that has fucking fraternities. So, okay, there's another problem right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or it's supposed to be some type of sorority house, and
a sorority / fraternity. It's still all the same. But yeah, you already got a problem. And another thing, we get to introduce our college kids who are going to be our main cast, and not even 2 minutes in, I was like, okay, we're in for a long fucking movie.
Yeah, because already from the get-go, every single one of these fucking college kids pissed me off. They were so cringy.
Oh my god, they were all fucking painful.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, we're not trying to say that the other Leprechaun movies had grade A acting, but at least those films I could at least tolerate on some of their characters and their acting. Their acting,
see, that's the thing. Those people were tolerable, but still bad. But back in the 80s and 90s, they were able to make low-budget films where the actors weren't off the wall cringy. It seems like today that's all they can fucking get is cringy fucking people.
Yeah, and this doesn't fare any better. This also doesn't help that you have probably a lot of actors that aren't really experienced much, and they're a lot of their lines that they're given are it's like I put on the fucking the fucking Hallmark Channel, because you have characters. There's two characters in particular that I want to get into. So they introduced this black girl that they introduced, who's this college girl, and there's this whole running joke that she has where her and her ex-boyfriend, they get together scene after scene with them talking about having sex, and then they also have scenes later where they're having sex, and they run that fucking joke to the ground every fucking scene.
Yeah, she plays this klutzy girl. They have the girl playing a klutzy girl, the black girl, and she's basically like, oh my god, I shouldn't have sex with him. Fucks him. Oh my god, I shouldn't have sex with him. Fucks him. Oh my god, please fucking kill these people first.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. And plus, also, it doesn't help that the Leprechaun this time, I had a hard time understanding this, because apparently all this starts because Ozzy from the first film ends up going back to, because he accidentally leaves his phone there, and he ends up going back to the well where the Leprechaun was killed. Now, I don't remember how they ended up. I remember in the first movie they ended up waking the Leprechaun up because the four-leaf clover was on top of this box that he was in, but it's never really explained exactly how the hell they kept the Leprechaun, like, and how he actually comes back, because all we see that he's approaching the well, and then all of a sudden he spits out something at him, and then he ends up getting inside of him, and I'm like,
yeah, basically it's a fucked up situation because. So you're gonna tell me again, because we saw Halloween do this, where we're led to believe that he just lay dormant
for 25 years.
Fucking years when he could have got. What is with these fucking sequels, the true sequels, doing this dormant shit?
That's what I'm saying.
Makes no fucking sense.
I mean, you're telling me not one person would have come across that well and he would have been like, oh, someone's coming? I'll spit and see if I can go in there. You could have done this entire fucking time.
Yeah, so he comes out, and little do we know, he gets inside Ozzy. And then we lose probably the only one I wanted to see in the movie. I didn't care for the rest of the people.
Yeah.
I was like, please, I'd like to see him get his, because this is a guy that doesn't get nothing other since the 90s, where in early 2000s he plays low-budgety movies. I was like, okay, let's give this guy a shot, and they fucking kill him.
I know, and it really makes you feel like they set up something with him, because at the beginning he's kind of like carrying like four-leaf clover and stuff, like he's prepared. I'm like, you could have easily done something with him.
He could have been the Jamie Lee Curtis of Leprechaun.
That's what I'm saying.
Where he's all prepared. And we'll do it for Jamie Lee Curtis, but we won't do it for Francis.
Yeah, we'll get into that later, because then that's where we want to get into later, where the movie goes off the fucking rails on that. But we'll get into that here later on.
Stupidly bad.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But anyway,
We're
after he gets killed,
our new Leprechaun, which is played by a different actor, and or should I call him Leper Pillsbury?
Yeah, because every time that he would make a funny laugh, it sounded like I wanted to you're pinching his little belly, and he's going, ooh.
Yeah, he's like telling us, and we get to introduce him where he's starting to do his, like, basically he's channeling
Warwick Davis.
He's channeling him bad, where he's doing the my lass, and then talking about telling those jokes that rhyme and stuff.
Yeah,
and then he goes, I'm like, oh my god. I mean, the guy is trying. I just don't. And he's doable, but there's some parts it's a 50-50 with me. There's like, okay, I like that. Oh my god, don't do that, please.
Yeah, there are some of there's some of the funny lines that he has do kind of work in some scenes, but a majority of them, they're very, they're very cheap humor, and a lot of them they fall very short toward as it goes on.
Not only that, and I'm going to blame more of the writers on this part. Warwick Davis had a lot of different things and lines and different tropes of the scenes he could do. This guy, however, he's given a lot of lines where he talks sexual to the girls.
Yeah, a lot. And even though Warwick Davis did that like once, like for once or twice,
blue moon, not every goddamn scene, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it does get very overblown, and it's almost like, okay, I understand Warwick Davis probably would look at this like, yeah, that script probably sucks, but I mean, he could probably still deliver these lines with a better, delivery,
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, Warwick Davis could have done a better delivery, but he's a big enough actor, a well enough actor to where they let him do a lot of his own improvising.
Well, yeah, true.
His own shit. Yeah. Which he's known for. He's done it with the other Leprechauns, and it flows just perfectly. He would have ignored half the fucking script he was given. Ooh. I would hope he would.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, this movie goes along where the Leprechaun is basically killing them one by one, and we're not going to go into too much. We're not going to go all over the place, but when they get killed, that's when pretty much the movie started to kind of pick up a little bit. Is really a lot with the gore. I will admit that the movie does have some really good practical effects, because,
Yes, it does. I will say it's one of the goriest ones out of the franchise, I think. Because the other ones, there were some gore and some brutality, but this was just balls to the wall, a lot of blood.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the most goriest that I've seen them do, at least, was some with maybe In the Hood and a little bit with maybe the first few, but this is the one where... Hello?
My internet keeps kicking me off. But you're at the most gory you ever seen them, dude.
But you said.
All right. All right, I'll cut that other part out. But anyway, yeah, this is it's probably the goriest I've seen in quite a long time of these movies, and also basically it comes to a point where it gets, it starts out kind of doing its usual slasher routine where they're picking off one by one, but toward the later half of the film, this is where it starts to get me. We have a scene where the main girl is trying to get, she's locked in this basement and trying to find a way out from the leprechaun. The movie really goes into this weird level where she starts seeing a fucking ghost of Ozzy who died earlier in the film.
Yeah, Ozzy basically ends up becoming the dude from fucking Pet Sematary. Oh my god, this has never done this before.
Yeah, I thought that was like, okay, I understand that the sequels like really got off the rails with their weird shit, but at least the first film, it still kept like a more consistent tone, I guess, even though it was a slasher film, and it mixed.
Yeah, because like you're saying, like in the middle of film, the tone of these actors become more one-liners, and they're fucking poorly done one-liners.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and not just that, but also it doesn't
like,
help.
Eat a dick, and then dun 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 dun. Like,
oh my god, yeah. But also we have to deal with. It also gets into a weird area where apparently the leprechaun in this also does a scene that reminds me of something straight out of fucking Wishmaster. All of a sudden, where he makes a deal with this girl who made a deal from earlier to let her live and stuff. And he changes his mind and ends up killing her, which, granted, that is I do like the death scene, but I do kind of find it kind of remind me a little bit too much like Wishmaster from the way it played out. I was like, that's something I think Wishmaster probably would have done.
Yeah, and, you get a lot of these one-liners, like, the lines in this film is just fucking horrible, like the scene where the girl's fucking one of the black girl's boyfriend gets killed, and gets killed in a pretty cool, gruesome way. And the girl was like, "Oh, by the way, did he die?"
Oh my god, yeah.
God.
Well, no shit.
Really, shittiness of and trying to be self-aware does not always work out. This movie didn't work.
No.
On the self-awareness, because the lines were not even fucking funny. They were painful.
They were. A lot of them have to do with the way you have these really...
Like that girl where she's talking to Leprechaun, who's all like... I will say that this was a funny part where she kicked his head almost off, and then he put it on and goes, "You get good head."
Yeah, that was funny. I will say
that was funny. He does have some good quick quips here and there, but the girls I really don't find funny at all. Like, that main girl, she's throwing out one-liners. "Oh, maybe I should have used a hammer."
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, these girls are not even scared, they're having fun.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that the dialogue in this, I mean, take it for what it is, I could at least tolerate the fucking shtick that happened in the Predator film by Shane Black. I know that film gets a lot of hate, but I could still put up with that dialogue. Here, there's no fucking comparison.
There's no comparison. This shit is like low budget, finding the fucking trash can accidentally and put it in your DVD bag.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, these people are just running, and not only that, they're running around in fucking circles in this farm.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I know
like, Are you guys getting anywhere?
Well, they try to get away using their car later on, which, granted, is the first time we ever see them try to get away from the Leprechaun since the first movie.
Oh, yeah, they get a mere 100 yards. And then somehow they play that cheap-ass crash.
Yeah, which it was like, okay, your car would still be fucking working after that. It's not like you hit a fucking big-ass tree, you just hit a bush.
What's bad is they had to CGI the car hitting the fucking tree.
I know.
And the ugly CGI of the fucking leprechaun on the fucking drone was terrible looking.
That was some of the worst CGI I saw was earlier where it shows like this girl taking a shower and you can see how the water looks. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they CGI the water.
Yeah, but anyway, it pretty much the weirdest thing for me is that later on in the film we see that they ends up defeating the leprechaun easily. And before that happens, we actually do get spoilers. We do get a quick kind of cameo of we get an imitator of Jennifer Aniston, because there's a part where the Leprechaun is talking to the girl, trying to because their plan is to use iron to try to kill the Leprechaun by getting his gold back.
I don't know if we failed to mention earlier, but Jennifer Aniston actually died of cancer.
Yeah, so Jennifer Aniston's character died of cancer in this film, so they wrote her character out that way. But she's brought up several times throughout the movie.
Yeah, and that's why he was able to imitate her mom, and she, try and trick her and find the gold. And here's the thing: there's a couple things I have a problem with. There's this fucking Leprechaun teleports everywhere, but then sometimes he gets kicked out of the car and they are able to drive off. Couldn't he not teleport inside the car?
Exactly. I'm like, that's fucking weird.
There's some illogical shit that he's doing, but doesn't do it when he can benefit from it. I'm like, he's got powers. Like, he can't find his fucking gold. He's walking around there. I'm like,
well, here's also the weird thing with the rules they establish. In the first film, if you remember, just to recap, because basically their plan in this movie is they find the gold, which, two things. One, they find the gold inside this truck, which is like the first movie when they found the gold originally. However, the rest of the gold was already spent by this other girl, by one of the main girls that's with them, but she didn't tell them until all the shit was going down, so that's already a fucking plot hole there.
Yeah. And she's looking, and the thing is, she's not acting suspicious as in you're thinking maybe she did something with it. She's legitimately looking for it. She's scared. She wants to find it. And she can't remember where she fucking found it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but the other thing is that their plan is to basically use the Leprechaun, because they find out that the main girl, she ends up using iron to kill the Leprechaun at the beginning, where it hurts the Leprechaun. Yeah. Now, if you remember in the first film...
What about that, before we continue, what about that fucking weird-ass line when she's like, they start playing that hero music when she's about to walk off, and then she goes, yeah, maybe we should stick together. I'm like,
yeah, that was
trying to be funny, and it's not working.
It felt to me like they were just improvising on the spot, because it felt like they had no fucking script at that point.
Yeah, because you do tell that some of the stuff, you don't know. There's no way somebody wrote that in there. It just felt like he just said, talk away, because they get out there talking.
I know, I'm like,
about random shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Is that part of the movie?
Yeah, and basically what we're getting at is that the girl carries this type of locket that has iron inside of it. That's for the coin that's used, because throughout the movie the gold is being looked for by the Leprechaun. Well, here's the thing. If you remember, their plan is to basically use the iron to try to lure the Leprechaun in to try to kill him. Now, here's refresh your memory on this. In the first film, if you remember, the Leprechaun was actually inside of a safe and killed that that shop owner, that jewelry shop guy. So that kind of contradicts the rules in this one, because if you remember in the first film, iron didn't fucking hurt him. Only the 4-leaf clovers did.
Yeah, they created the iron thing, the shilling and all that thing that they put on.
That wasn't until the second film.
But in the second one, but he still had some magic where he tricked out of it and stuff. And this one, they don't seem like they give this Leprechaun much charisma to do cool shit like that. It just seems like he's just killing people one by one, and he just wants his gold.
Yeah.
They don't do much cleverness where he gets like that. I mean, maybe the part where he turns into Million was pretty cool. The tons of Army of Darkness, little leprechauns, that was cool. But that's only used a few times, where he does something clever.
Yeah, because the film's tone is all over the place. Because they end up trying to destroy them, which works because they end up using a combination of the clovers, the 4-leaf clovers. Yep. And the iron, but it turns out, and this is something that I didn't think about from the first film, that was not really established. In order to kill the Leprechaun, he has to be completely destroyed where there's nothing left of him. Now, if you remember the first film, when he got killed, he fell in that well and he basically blew up into pieces and stuff. Now, can you tell me, if he's able to pick himself back together easily after being blown up, why the fuck did he not do that in the first film? If he decided to wait 25 years later.
Exactly, and not only that, the first death is they did that where he blows up and all that stuff, and they do stuff leprechaun-ish to kill him, and then we get into the part where they think he's dead. He actually transforms into a bunch of little leprechauns and ends up taking out this other girl. Another one that was kind of annoying because she's playing more of the environmentalist, the tree hugger. Can't hurt the environment. And I was like, please kill that bitch.
Yeah, every one of these fucking women are... everyone in this was so...
Oh, yeah. Every women and man's got their certain go-to. You got the drunk girl, the fucking nerd, the one who had a bad past. I'm like, oh my god. The whore. I'm like, fuck, how many of these tropes are you going to keep doing in these type of films?
I mean, I get it's a slasher film, but even some of the other, like, Leprechaun films still had interesting characters. They don't have it here. Mm-hmm. But anyway, they have it to where they end up destroying him, and he ends up coming back. And I will admit, the way that they kind of set it up at first, it does kind of feel like some of the Evil Dead films from the way the camera work uses and stuff, with the zoom-ins and stuff like that, and the way they do it kind of play out like Army of Darkness. But it's very, like, poorly rendered because, I don't know, that fucking CGI,
it was poorly
man.
rendered, and not only that, they just had to save the fucking most annoying bitch to talk the most in that scene.
I know, it would have been funnier if it was the other girl. But But anyway, they end up killing her, and basically they end up destroying the leprechaun by having him on fire, by basically having the coins get electrocuted. And
exactly.
And this is all, and then in the end, the fucking house blows up, and then we see, like, Ozzy come back.
They managed to actually use the best death first, and then use the weakest death last.
And you know what? They just
fucked that up.
It's almost like they just completely copied Halloween's ending, because both films end with the fucking house blowing up.
Yeah, and then, and not with that, there was a scene also that Leprechaun copied it, where he stuck his eyes out in the water, the basement water.
Yeah, exactly. And
so it seems like there is a lot of hints of recent horror films they've done.
Yep. And
scenes,
which is funny because the guy who directed this,
where the girls, it was all girls that lived. All the men got killed fucking quick.
Yeah, it's only the main girl and the black girl live. Which I was thinking the other girl would die because she was the most annoying character besides that other dude.
And not only that, there was that the chick that survives. One of the chicks that survived at the end, the black girl. She ended up having a spike in her chest. How the fuck did she live?
I know. There's no fucking way. And then we just see that the Aussie dude's like it's almost, you're almost led to believe that the main girl has like some type of hereditary hallucination or something where she can only see him or stuff like that. But if the movie was gonna play, the movie can't decide whether it's trying to be a full-on serious horror film or if it's trying to be a fun campy.
Well, the thing is like whenever I start seeing him come out as a ghost and popping up and giving her pointers and shit, I'm like, did she bury him in the Indian reservoir or something?
That's what I'm saying. Well, also, what doesn't make sense is
because the way it looks like it's like they're channeling that.
Well, also, what doesn't make sense about that is she didn't know he died. So how the hell would she know that he's actually dead?
Exactly, and not only that, before she actually sees his dead body and sees him, and he's revealing I died, she's actually having these quick Vietnam flashbacks of him getting killed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does I mean, I know that she's the daughter of Jennifer Aniston's character, but I mean, unless Jennifer Aniston had some kind of psychic ability, I don't think that fucking works.
No, this movie let's accept it. The movie actually didn't know what the fuck it wanted to do, so it just said, fuck it, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
And in the end,
so that's what they did.
And in the end, we see that Leprechaun apparently still survives because we see him pretty much rip off the ending of Return of the Living Dead 5, where he's hitchhiking down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're setting up for another one. Now, how do I put this? Was this movie probably better than Origins? Well, yeah, but yes. I mean, it definitely is.
Yes,
I mean, they seem like they were going back to its roots with the right direction, but it's still
all right. It's like this. Its best description is they're plotting how they want to get the Leprechaun look, everything back was in the right place, but it looked like they borrowed the cast from Origins.
Yeah, they did. And also, now to get my pros out of the way, I'll say there's decent gore.
It wasn't too bad.
The gore wasn't too bad. I do like some of the death scenes for the most part. There is one particular death scene I'll get to later that I felt like, when you look at it, it does look really poorly CGI from the way it's rendered. There is some fun gore parts that I do like. Some of the death scenes were good.
Gore, they actually did pretty well in the blood. The Leprechaun guy wasn't too bad.
No,
he was given what he was given, and we got to accept that Warwick Davis has to retire.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could have. I think the guy probably has potential if he actually was given a better direction, a better script. Because there are some lines where he actually does
his own direction.
Yeah,
his own direction instead of channeling Warwick's character.
That's what I'm saying. I get he's playing the same character, but he didn't have to do a direct imitation. You can still play the same character, but still do your own unique take on it.
Exactly.
But so that was my problem. But he did for what he's given. He at least tried. The other thing I'll say is.
I like bringing back some of the original people like Francis and Hinton, Jennifer Aniston thing. I did, and then seeing the truck where they found the gold in the first movie in the house. I do like that they brought a lot of that back.
Yeah, and there were some, that's what I'm saying. Some of the connections they had in the first film were a nice little thing, and but that's really as far as I'll go.
As far as I go, everything else was absolutely atrocious. The acting being probably the worst.
Yes, definitely. And plus, you also have just a lot of weird shit where it almost becomes unpredictable, but in the most bad way, where it becomes like this movie's like so batshit insane that I have expected a fucking vampire or something to show up at some point. Because first you're dealing with ghosts.
Not only that, another problem I have is I don't feel like the Leprechaun was creative enough compared to the other films.
Yeah, a lack of tone because they really didn't know if they wanted to do it a full-on serious film or if it was trying to be a comedy. Yeah. And plus, it also dive into a lot of weird territory that feels out of place for a Leprechaun movie. You have a lot of shit that doesn't make sense with its fucking plot, which, given that it's a slasher film like this, I kind of expected that because some of the other movies were kind of got ridiculous with their plots, but this was going to really off of the rails, like completely off bonkers. But and
that's all I gotta say pretty much about it, man. And I really don't recommend it. Another true sequel, quote, fails badly again, and I don't know how many times I'm going to keep fucking saying that. If that movie has a good sequel, don't fucking try to overdo it, because you fail every time. With that said, I'm going to give this film a low disaster grade in a Film Phreeks meter, and I think I'm being nice.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm giving this an extremely low disaster grade in the Film Phreeks meter as well. And for those of you who have also seen Leprechaun Returns, and also the other Leprechaun films, let us know in the comments below what you thought about them and this one. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out some of our other reviews here and on our website at filmphreeks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
All right.